I am Kay Dean Turan, and I'm the President and CEO of Volunteers of America, Oregon. Volunteers of America, Oregon is a broad-based human service organization. We're an organization that provides services to children, to adolescents, to families, adults, and to our senior population. And we provide the kinds of services that help people stand independent of needing services, but also for many of our individuals who are working with them in a way that they can get their lives back on track and that they can be non-dependent on the system and be a contributor to not only themselves and their family, but to the community. What we have done is to develop our service delivery system based on a need assessment that was done many, many years ago. And that needs assessment told us that there were some critical areas that we needed to support in our community. COVID-19, of course, has really affected how we deliver our services. And so many of the services that used to be in-house are now done remotely, and we're trying to perfect that to see how much of that we can continue so that we can better serve the population that needs our intervention.
My name is Winsve Campos. I am the state representative for House District 28, which is the Aloha-Beaverton area. So I campaigned on three things. I campaigned on housing, addressing climate change, and healthcare. And even when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, those top three priorities didn't change because we know that those were issues that were exacerbated by the pandemic. One of my top priorities this session is actually a House Bill number 3352, which seeks to expand Medicaid access to undocumented adults. What we need is change at a policy level. We need people that are on the front lines of the most pressing issues that we're facing, but we also need people who have diverse lived experiences like those that I bring as somebody who grew up in a low-income household, as somebody whose parents are immigrants to this country. All of these identities that and perspectives that I bring that we currently don't have a lot of in the legislature.
Specialized programs and specialized education that focuses on leadership development is critical for the success of women. One of the things I've been impressed with over the years, and particularly in the last few years, is their investment in mentorship programs. Mentorships really do work, particularly for women who don't have the exposure in other environments or with other opportunities.
I can look back to a point in time that specifically ties to having participated in the New Leadership Oregon program and say, hey, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have found this person, I wouldn't have found this job, I wouldn't necessarily be a state representative today if I hadn't connected with someone through the New Leadership Oregon program.
If we were going to be in that leadership role, values around honesty, or values around loyalty, values around high expectations and high delivery of services. What represents an effective leader is that all of that comes together in such a way that people feel like that's an individual that I can follow. There's a lot of polarization in our community, polarization around race, polarization around gender. We've got to come through that in a way that we at some point come together.